Today I'm going to show you how to make isiyaca from using a brick stitch collar. I'm only going to show you a few lines. Today I am injured, but there is no way I couldn't do this. So first you are going to attach your thread. Usually it has to be longer than this, but this is for a tutorial. So step 2 is we're going to attach our thread to our beadwork. So I'm going to come in from the top and then I'm going to come down till here. Okay, so I don't like to tie knots, especially in my brick stitch, because it usually leaves a mess. So what I like to do is to just move around the stitch. First I need to find a bead that has space for me to go into. Then I'm just going to move through my work. So the goal is to go down to that gap. Yeah? If you want, you can go outside, but I usually do not recommend that, because I don't know how to make that look pretty. Okay. So it doesn't matter how you get to the top, just get to the top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this way. Ooh. What the hell, my darling? Okay. We're almost out. There we go. Okay. Now when I pull my string, it's secure and I don't need to worry about it unraveling at any point. But if you are not happy at this point, you can tie a knot just to be secure. Just tie one around there. Knot, I'm going to show you, even though it's not necessary in case you want to do it. So what I would do, if I was not happy with my thread, I would insert my needle over here. One knot is enough. More than one will definitely be too bulky, and you do not want that. Okay. Then you insert your needle here. And you pull upwards. Make sure you pull upwards and not downwards too often or too hard. But there you go. Just pull towards the beadwork, not away from it. One knot is fine. Then now we're going to start with isiyaca. So before I start beading, I want to first write down the numbers that I'm going to use. Now you can use the same numbers every time, but I'm going to write them down for you this time so that so when we make isiyaca, we build we have rows and we have columns, right? Maybe this is complicating it a bit, but it will make sense in a bit. So each row has to have a certain number of beads, and the lower down you go, the number needs to increase. So we're going to start with our first row, which is going to have 3 beads. Then our next row is going to have 3 beads. Then we're going to have 4, 4. I'm going to have 11 rows. So I'm going to fill that out like this. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now it's important that the number of rows you have is an odd number. That's important for when we get back to the top and when we attach to our collar. So these are our numbers. As we go down, the numbers increase. I repeat some of the numbers. I repeat all the numbers twice. You can repeat the numbers if you want, but more than 3 times is usually too much. So twice is the perfect number. Once is fine. Twice is the perfect number. 3 times is okay, but if you do more than that, then you're doing too much. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how this goes in practice. Okay, I'm going to leave it in frame so you can still see where we are. Okay, now we're going to do our first column. Okay, first column, and we're going to start building our rows. Our first row is 3 beads. So I'm going to do 1 dark blue bead, 1 light blue bead, and let's do another light blue bead. No. Yeah, let's do a dark blue bead instead. Okay, so that is our first row. That's our first 3. Then I'm going to pick up my second 3. I'm going to do 3 light blue beads. 3 light blue beads. Then I'm going to pick up 3 beads, 1 dark blue, 1 light blue, and 1 dark blue bead. This is going to connect our 3 and our 4. Then I'm going to pick up 4 light blue beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to pick up 3 beads again. 1, 2, 3. This is our connector. So let me take a moment here to show you where we are. Okay, so I have my first 3 beads, I have my second 3 beads, I have my connector, I have 4 beads, and I have my connector that's going to connect to my next 4. The reason why I don't have a connector here is because it's close to the top. Usually I would connect with only 1 bead, but you don't have to. I'm choosing not to in this case because I already have 3 beads here, and I think that is enough. So that's my first 3, second 3, connector, 4 beads, connector. So now we're going to do another 4. And I'm ready to put in some color in our beadwork. So I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. Then I'm going to put in a connector bead. This is where we are now. We just finished doing that 4. I'm going to do 5 up until 8. All the way down to 8. So let's do 5. I'll go back to my light blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then connector. I'm going to do another 5 in light blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. Then I do a connector. So our next row going forward will be different, but this is what the first row looks like. So now we've done both our 5s. That was 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. I'm gonna do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna do my next 6 in orange. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm gonna pick up a connector. So now we're gonna do, this was our last 6. We're gonna do 7, 7, and 8. So I'm gonna go back to light blue. 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we pick up a connector. Then we do another 7. Two, 4, 6, 7. I want my last row, my 8, to be completely dark blue. First I need a separator. So I'm going to pick up a separator. Ooh. Separator, then I'm going to pick up 8 dark blue beads. 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there we have it, our 8. We reached the end. Now we're going to go back up. I am going to pick up 1 light blue bead and 3 dark blue beads. And I'm going to use these beads as my turning beads. Doesn't matter what color you pick up, just make sure it's 4 beads. Okay. So that I'm ready to turn, I'm going to insert my needle into that light blue bead, which is also the first of the 4 beads I picked up. So if you decide to pick up only the same color, just insert it into the first bead. Carefully, it should create a mini diamond like that, or triangle. I don't know what this is, but this is what you're trying to make, and it secures your work at the bottom, allowing you to go back up. Okay, so now we're going to go back up. When we go back up, we're going to do 2 rows at a time until we get to the top. So you're going to pick up row 8 and row 7. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. Then we're going to pick up our connector. And then you're going to pick up row 7, which was light blue for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I definitely messed up my counting there. We have, that's 7. That's 7 beads. Okay. So this is what we have. Now we're going back up and we're doing 2 rows at a time. you want to make sure that you don't pick up that connector bead, because that's where we are going to connect now. So you're not going to pick it up when you are going back up, and you're going to do this every second row. So now that we've done row 8 and row 7, we're going to do row 7 and row 6. Row 7 here is light blue, so I'm going to pick up 7 light blue beads. Alright, okay, that's 2, 4, 6, 7. Take that one back. Then we're going to pick up that connector bead because we're not connecting to it, so we have to make sure that it's present. Then we're going to pick up row 6, which was 6 orange beads. Okay, that's 6 beads. That's what that looks like, and then we're going to connect to those connector beads that are above the orange. Okay, so now we've done row 7 and row 6. We're going to do row 6 and row 5. Those are both light blue. That is what we have, and we're going to connect to those 2 beads there. Okay, so now this was 6 and 5, so now we're going to do 5 and 4. It was right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Five beads, and then you pick up your connector to replace the one that we're not using. Then we're going to pick up 4 orange beads. There you go. And to show you again, that's what that looks like, and we're connecting to the one above. Okay, so now you can't see it anymore, so let me just move this. Now we're gonna do row 4 and row 3, and you'll notice that the last row is by itself and it doesn't have a partner. That's because it doesn't need a partner. We are going to insert right through it. So row 4 and row 3, which is 4 light blue beads, we're going to pick up a connector, then we're going to do 3 light blue beads. Get rid of that. Okay, Now we have 3 light blue beads. This is our row 4, that's our row 3, and that's our last row 3. These are the beads we've picked up. We've picked up row 4, we've picked up row 4 and row 3, and we're going to connect right through that last row 3, that one, all the way through it. And that's our second column done. Then we're going to insert our thread into this bead over here. Okay. So that's it, we've done our second column, and now we're getting ready to go down and do our next column. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go down in pairs. We're going to do 2 at a time. This time you're starting with 3 and 3. Okay? And if you remember, our first 3, these 2 together, do not have a connector bead in between them. So we're going to do 1. So that's our first 3. Then we're going to do our second 3. Just like that. No connector bead in between. If you're ready to leave now because you think you know enough, there's just one more thing that I have to teach you that is important when it comes to making isiyaca. So please stay tuned for at least the next 2 rows, because there's something else that's completely important. And if you get that wrong, then it's going to turn out not well. So we're going to connect into that connector bead. Let me show you properly actually. So here we are now. I've picked up first 3 and my second 3, and it lands here. We're going to connect to those 3 beads, to our connector bead. Okay. So now we're going to do 4 and 4. That's our next pair. And then you pick up the connector bead as well. And then you do your last 4, which was orange. There we go. And that is where that lands, like that. We're going to connect into that connector bead. So we've done 4 and 4, now we're going to do 5 and 5. That's our 5 and 5. That's where that lands, and we're going to connect into creating a shadow. Okay, so we're going to connect into that connector bead. Okay, so now we're doing 6 and 6. Do 4. Yeah, it's 2, 4, 6. Then we're going to connect. Oh, let me show you first. So that's where that lands. Then we're going to connect into that connector bead. So now we're going to do, I'm pretty sure that's 7 and 7. Two, 4, 6, 7. Do not forget your connector bead. Then we're going to do another 7. That's 4 beads. I need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So this is where that lands, and we're going to connect into our connector bead, which is these beads. Then we're going to do our last row all by itself. We are going to pick up 8 beads. 2, 4, 6, 8. Then I'm going to pick up 1 and 3 dark blue beads. And this is going to be my mini diamond at the end. Okay. Just kind of pull on your work just a little bit, just to make sure that nothing is loose. And you insert your needle here, kind of keeping everything tight as you do so, as much as you possibly can. And then you create your mini diamond. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to go back up, same way we did last time, 8 and 7, all the way till we get to the top. I'm going to skip this part because you already know how to do it. I showed you. Then I'm going to show you how to do the next row, which is the last important thing that you need to know. Okay, so I'm close to the end. I'm just going to do the last couple of rows with you. So now we're doing 5 and we're doing 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. get 4. Now I'm doing 4 and I'm doing 3. Okay, and we're gonna connect to our last 3 beads, all 3 of them at once, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna go across. But another thing that's important, or that's different here, is that the spaces between where you connect are very close together. And if you're going to build a row for each space, if you're going to build a column, build down for each space there is here, your beadwork or your necklace is going to be too full. So what we do is every second row we skip. So we're going to do 2 rows that are close together, 1 on each side of the bead, and when you're done with that, you're going to pick up 1 bead just to close that space, and you're going to go across. Just like that, and then we're going to start building downwards again. Now I'm going to build downwards. I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to build another one, down again, then I'm going to skip 1. So it's 2 rows next to each other, skip 1, 2 rows next to each other, skip 1, 2 rows next to each other. 2 columns, sorry, it doesn't matter, basically just build downward. I'm going to show you closer after I've built. I think this video is a bit too long now for me to show you going down again, so I'm going to build a couple columns, then I'm going to come back and show you what that looks like at the top. This was the first row we did together, then we did this one together as well, and we skipped this one. So now we did off camera, I did this row by myself. I'm about to finish this one, and I'm also about to skip the next one. If you can see, the pattern is you do 2 next to each other, you skip 1, then you do another 2, then you skip 1. We do this to space the rows out so that it's not too full, and it's nice and flat when you wear it on your chest. Also, if you skip every row, so if you do 1 row and you skip, you do 1 row and you skip, that's going to be too, it won't be full enough. So what's going to happen is this is going to move up your neck and it's going to start choking you and you're going to die. But it's going to choke you and it's not going to be comfortable while wearing it. So doing it this way allows it to be flat while you're wearing it, and it sits properly on your neck as well. Yeah, so now I'm going to show you how to skip one more time. Then I'm going to show you what to do when you're running out of thread, how to add your thread, and how to leave your beadwork. Okay, there you go, that's our little skip. So I have to fight with it to make sure that it lands straight. Other than that, this is how you do it. I'm gonna bead up until this point, then I'm going to exit my beadwork and I'm gonna show you how to leave and then how to get back in. Now we are running out of thread, so we're gonna do our last 2 rows. Yeah? Then you're gonna insert into wherever you are. We're gonna insert into the connector bead. Before you do that, just make sure you have enough thread, at least 8 centimeters. I don't know how long this is, but it looks like it's about 8 centimeters. You don't want anything too short, so that you have enough thread to tie knots. So we're gonna connect our last 2 rows, our little 2 6s, like that. Then we're gonna go into the beadwork. This is where we are. We're gonna go into the beadwork down that way, just straight down. Once we get to this point, I'm gonna tie a knot. Just pull a little, not too tight. Just make sure that nothing is loose before you tie your knot, which we're gonna do right here around that connector bead, above it, like that. There we go. Just above that connector bead, which is the perfect place because it is hidden by these 3 beads. So all your knots will never show. So now I'm gonna go up my beadwork this way, and I'm gonna tie a knot here at the bottom of those connector beads. You usually don't need anything more than 3 beads. 3 knots. You don't need anything more than 3 knots. Now I'm gonna move down this way. So let me show you. All I did was, this is the last place that I was. I went down here, I made a knot. I went up here, I made a knot. Now I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna make another knot. Three knots is more than enough. In fact, 2 was enough. But we want to make sure that it is extra secure. 1 is not enough. Not for this. 1 is not enough for this. 1 will only be enough for your brick stitch, because that's already a tight stitching method. This is not that tight, so don't do that. So I'm just going to finish the rest of my thread. I'm not going to tie any knots this time. I'm just going to go in a zigzag motion, in and out, just to have my thread inside, which also contributes to securing the work. Like that. I feel like I'm done. So quick summary again. I finished here, I connected, then I went all the way down here, I made a knot, came up here, I made a knot, went down here, made another knot, then I just did a zigzag motion, no knots, just securing the end tail of my thread. Now I am cutting off that thread. And we are done. Our work is secure. You have nothing to worry about. So now, how do I add thread so I can continue beading? So you're going to thread your needle. Yeah, I've threaded my needle with a thread that's not too long. So something I can handle. Okay. So we know that there are knots here, here, and here. So when we insert our new thread, I'm not going to insert in these areas because I know I will be blocked here. So what I usually like to do is I enter from the top, now that I'm going to add my new thread, and I tie my knots at the bottom. Wherever you land, tie your knots at the bottom and enter from the top, or whichever way you like to do it. Just remember where your knots are. Don't go back that way because you will be blocked. Okay, so we're trying to go back to exactly that point, which is the last place that we connected. So I'm gonna enter, let's enter in a straight line. So that's our line. I'm gonna enter here. So this line is gonna lead me down to there exactly. So I'm gonna enter at that point. Okay, so now I'm only entering through that through that connector bead. You can enter at any point, it doesn't matter. What I like to do is I like to not tie knots at first. So I'm going to enter through this part as well, and I'm going to go down. Let me figure out, okay, there we go. Okay, so what I did was I entered through those 3 beads and also through that. Then I'm going to enter through these 3 beads as well. No knots yet. Okay, then I'm going to pull my thread in slowly until it disappears, very slowly, until it barely disappears, like, there we go, gone. Then I'm going to tie my first knot. I do this so that I don't have to cut off a lot of thread, and it can just seamlessly not be there. Then we're going to tie our first knot at the bottom of that connector, like that. There we go. Then I'm going to enter down this arm, then I'm going to tie another knot here at the bottom. So now I'm going to go down this arm and back to exactly where we need to be, where we were aiming to be. And now we've added new thread exactly where we left off, and we can continue beading. The last thing I didn't mention about these numbers is that if you want something longer, you can add more numbers. Just make sure that you have odd number of rows. If you want something shorter, same thing, just decrease the number of rows. Just make sure that it's an odd number of rows.